Hello and welcome back for is this semi-finals X? Are we back in round 4 again? Oh, okay. So for now we do have Replika versus Luna Gaming, and well, Xin Zhao will be the first ban. Very interesting. Xin Zhao has had a recent remake, and he is rather strong. So yeah, interesting ban. What do you think about that, Spuddington? And also, yes, Spuddington. Hello.
Hello, I
Did I
am your
mention that?
co-caster for today. And yes, Xin Zhao, he's like this really strong early game melee carry sort of bruiser thing. Probably more of a bruiser than anything else. But he has his particular selling points, shall we say, are his really high early damage and his ult really, which is great for clearing out a huge crowd of people. And nowadays he also has some pretty decent late game damage scaling as well.
Yep.
He's dangerous and he can really snowball and carry a game quite hard. Karthus is kind of a global champion, so Shen. This is what we see a lot, is spanning out global ultimates that can influence the game from across the map because it's just so hard to play against it. And Fizz has been banned out, which is probably a ban against Kerp, I think, because Kerp loves to play Fizz in the mid and is very good with him and destroys a lot of people.
Yeah, for sure, and I have been informed by our producer that this is round 4, so we have gone back in time by an hour or so. So, whoa, it's crazy, man, it's crazy. Maybe that alien invasion could be a true thing, but no, we will have Irelia as the next ban out from Luna Gaming, and looking for the last ban from Replika. So, see if they go for another target ban or another blanket ban. Looking maybe for those global ultimates, which are always relevant. Waiting for that one to come out. So, what do you expect the last ban to be? Take a guess.
Ooh.
An educated guess.
Quick, dither, as long as possible. I don't really know. Oh, yeah, sorry, if I thought about it, it would have been Malphite. No, actually, it would have been Rumble.
Really? Yeah, of
Rumble.
course, and Rumble immediately picked up by Kerp. Yeah, it's locked.
Rumble is easily forgotten about. Rumble is so strong right now because of the fixed his damage, so that now it's reliable and extremely high. He is this major lane bully, and he scales fairly well, and has an ultimate that can win a team fight almost single-handed.
It probably didn't help that Riot was like, Rumble's OP at the moment and we're going to nerf him. So now everyone's just flocking to the Rumble train while it's still OP. So that's probably not a good thing.
I will still say he is still quite a hard champion to play.
Oh, for sure.
Flamespitter is still difficult to direct properly. And yeah, so Sona and Shyvana. Shyvana typically played in the jungle, can be played top actually, but probably not the best against Rumble. She just relies on counter jungling and really fast clear times and scaling quite well into late game for damage. Becomes really tough and hard to kill. Does a lot of damage. Sona, great synergy with the AoE comps, huge aura influence, all around great support, a lot of poke in a lane. And Lee Sin pickup, maybe. Zyra pickup certainly, because she has a lot of damage and a lot of control. She has a lot of crowd control, and she can really turn the tide of a battle just by virtue of using her abilities correctly.
Yeah, for sure. And potentially a Jax pickup as well. But yeah, as you were talking about with the Sona, once again, I wouldn't be surprised if they go for like a high mobility composition, because Sona does have that AoE aura which increases movement speed. Shyvana is naturally fast. Jax is fairly mobile as well with the leap strike. So I wouldn't be surprised if they have like all mobility, and that would make a lot of sense considering, well, they're looking to be aggressive early game and then push to advantage with a counter jungler, because that's generally how it works. And yeah, that will be the least in pickup.
Mobility is pretty strong against the kind of AoE we're seeing at the moment with the Zyra and the Rumble, because it means you never have to engage them in. If you can avoid ever engaging an AoE composition in a 5v5 team fight by making sure they always have to be running around to deal with someone's taking one tower, someone's taking another, someone's taking dragon, someone's doing, this, that, and the other. If you never have to engage them, then you never have to worry about them all just stacking their ultimates on top of you and you being insta-killed your entire team.
Yeah, definitely.
Which is, Gragas is another thing. He disengages very well, and he can break up an AoE composition. Can avoid having your whole team insta-gibbed.
Yeah, at the moment they have very good characters in like small skirmishes, and that's probably, as you were mentioning, what they're looking for. Not looking for a straight up 5 versus 5 team fight because of the AoE already presented on Luna's team. So Replika might as well go ahead and go for those small skirmish champions like Rackers, as you said, great counter initiate. If they go for those 5 versus 5 fights, run away from that one, and then Jack's very good in duels. So is Shyvana, and so could Ragas as well. He's got a lot of burst potential and great in those skirmishes potentially with those invades. And do you think we'll see a Jace pick up?
Maybe.
Wow.
But
Yeah, it's locked in. What?
Locked in Jace. AD carry Jace by the looks of it. It's interesting. I've not seen that before. He could, in theory, do it, in that he does have that attack speed steroid. But it does seem like it would leave half of his toolkit almost unused outside of the lane. It's interesting, although he would have a knockback. So, actually, no, AD carry Jace could work, I just don't see it very much. People seem to default to taking him top lane, and I don't really know why. And also, Jarvan the Fourth, very good for a kind of hard engage. He will just flag and drag you, and then ult, and very hard to get away from him and stop him from just starting a fight. Second really to Malphite. Go ahead.
Wait, what? They don't have a support. I'm expecting a kill lane bottom, like Jarvan Jace. I guess.
Oh yeah, that's very stupid of me, isn't it? Yeah, it does look like Jarvan Jace. That's very interesting.
Yeah. And I'm very interested to see this because we ourselves have been running those gimmick lanes recently, and one of those being Xin Zhao and Darius, which is just the most brutal of lanes. You should try it at some point.
Meat
You will listen to this.
grinder.
Yeah, it's like literally one of you gets in range with a CC, death. But let's take a look at someone's runes. I'm thinking Jace. What do you think about that?
Yeah, Jace. Definitely look at Jace.
Take a look at Jace, shall we?
It might be that they're going to try and run like a double bruiser bot and have Jace focus on being kind of a melee tanky guy.
13 armor, 12 magic resist, and then 15 physical damage. So standard for AD carries and a lot of characters in general. It's just a very solid setup. 21-9, going straight down to Executioner. Again, very
standard, yeah.
Standard,
that doesn't really tell us too much, I think. He's probably... I don't know. Are they going to go for really ending it in the mid game? Because if they want to do that, they do have a pretty good team for it. A lot of their team kind of falls off somewhat, but have really strong presence in the mid game and a lot of crowd control, and they can push hard. But if it drags on and they come up against an AD carry like Corki with, his huge damage, it will backfire quite badly, basically, if it gets to that late game, and Corki is left doing it.
Yeah, definitely. So for now, guys, we're going to switch for a quick commercial break, and by the time we get back, we'll be in game for Luna versus Replika Gaming. Stay tuned, guys. Hello and welcome back for round 4 once again. I almost said the semi-finals, but this is round 4 once again between Replika and Luna Gaming. I am once again joined by my fantastic co-caster, Spuddington. Go ahead and say hello.
I am fantastic as well as amazing. Thank you. This is looking really interesting with the lack of an AD, well, possible lack of an AD carry at bot lane for Kurt and co.
Gerp. So yeah, already opening it with To the Skies, so looking for this invade. They have like a perfect level 1 invade. Look at the damage, just because they have raw beefiness, because they didn't have the support, they just have a bruiser there instead. That probably being Jarvan. And meanwhile, everyone on Replika are waiting up at the top lane. They have put down a ward, and because they are not going after the invade, they do not have the ward down at blue though. Very interesting. Who's the jungler right now? Shyvana, okay, so wasn't entirely necessary. Replika's like expecting this invade, and Gragas is taunting as well, so yeah, they expected to invade, it was just a different place.
Yeah, they expect that. This is a clever play because Shyvana typically starts red, and they know that they have a really good level 1 fight, so where are they going to invade? They're going to invade red buff. So they thought, well, no we won't, we'll just take your blue, and then you won't know what we've gone for. Although it looks like they may have twigged about this being the case, and are heading back to contest. Maybe? Yeah.
Oh taps! Oh taps! He's seen them. I'm not sure if Replika have seen that in kind. I'm not sure about the vision. Flag goes down, so they will have vision for a little while. And now, yeah, Replika know that they were there. So they have scared them off and prevented that blue deal from happening. And in fact, Shyvana will be starting at blue, looking for that maybe fast level 3, maybe fast invade, but most likely Lee Sin will usually start up at that red buff. Bottom lane looking to be aggressive here though.
Were they just poking, I'm guessing, with Jace Q, I'd imagine. Yeah, To the Skies, of course. So Jace having his linked skills, he has basically his main poke ability, and also he has his gap closer slow combo from his Q. He will be attacking the enemy bot lane right now, yeah. Alright, Corki Sona versus Jarvan Jace. It's a very manly lane there. Jace and Jarvan. In truth though, they will actually have really strong burst potential and the ability to just jump on the enemy and kill them extremely fast. Like, it'll be very hard for them to do it in time.
Yeah, and like hit level 2, they have a lot of potential, like a lot of burst potential, a lot of trading potential, and Replika realized this, and that's just letting the lane push, which is probably the best way of dealing with it really, because if you can't initiate, then what's your lane gonna do? Because they can't initiate that close to the turret because it's so early on, but that poke alone is pretty ridiculous, already mounting up from Kurt. And it's kind of surprising because like Sonic Corki is usually like the king poke lane, so already Zyra just ripping into aim right now from Replika. Those plants. Yeah, AIM was actually just letting those plants well on him for a good 5 seconds. He was just like, haha, plants can't hurt me, and brought down from 100% to 10. So, yeah.
Inexperience against Zyra there, I'm guessing, because it is sort of what you think when you first play against, even someone like Heimer, you think like it's a minion, it's a mild thing. It's not. It does a lot of damage. And yeah. There's Shyvana looking to gank top, I'm thinking here.
Yeah, she's going for that fast level 4 route, just have the double buff, and Rumble's disappeared from lane, so maybe expecting that early ward, maybe from a support board. Either way, gonna take those golems, and yeah, meanwhile top. So Jack, how's he doing on farm? Like, is he being bullied out too much at the moment? Maybe he's actually ahead on farm.
But he's behind on XP. Now, probably what this is an aspect of Rumble having a really terrible auto attack animation. It's actually quite hard to farm effectively as Rumble. Whereas as Jax, it's easy as pie because he has an attack timer reset. He has.
Oh, here comes the initiation though from Mozilla, and will stun him with counter strikes. Dev will come in from the side. Very interesting name. And
sounds
Radox
will
be out there. Meanwhile, bottom there goes the initiation from the man lane, and Flash goes out by Casmus, but will he survive from this? Ignite has gone down as well. Will the last tick kill him? No, it will not. 3 HP. 3 HP.
Locker.
Shyvana actually going straight onto Frogger. Tabs coming in from the side as well though. First blood will be picked up by Chicken Lee Sin, and AIM was not able to follow up on that one. But
Yeah.
that's yeah.
This is what they really want. They really want to start this game snowballing as early as possible because, like we say, they have not such a special late game. Like, they, a lot of AoE, yes, but compared to Jax and Shyvana and Corki, I think they're going to have some problems. Especially because, Lee Sin falls off. I don't really know, actually, about support Jarvan in late game. I know he has some pretty decent base damages, but I really don't know how they'd compare to someone like Sona. But, especially in terms of, utility, because he has to get in really close to use all of his stuff, and with just a Heart of Gold, he's probably not going to live very long doing that.
You could say the same thing about Nunu, though. Nunu has to get in close to use his abilities, and Jarvan is naturally beefy, especially with his banner and the flag, of course. So, yeah, his Aegis and just kit will keep him alive, I would suspect. But, yeah, I definitely agree. Jarvan's support could definitely be viable. He's got a lot of burst damage early, simply on that base, as we've been saying. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see a couple kills early. Obviously, 3 HP was very unfortunate onto that Sona, but of course that will be calculated. There was actually a meme created about that. When enemy escapes on low health, it's luck. When you escape, it's skill.
Yeah. It always is.
Yeah. Well, take a look at this. Herb already going on to Sona, and he is out trading us. So that just shows a show of strength, basically. They are stronger in a straight up trade.
Yeah. In many ways, you almost don't want to CS just so that you can, zone them out with your threat of death. This is a threat of death, actually, with both of those guys. Jace actually, certainly by comparison with other AD carries, in melee mode, he has significantly more burst than probably even than Corki, actually. Because his E does, 8% of your health? 8% of your max health when he's in hammer mode. And he also has that shock blast through the acceleration gate, which it hits hard. If you just saw it, just hit and took off a decent chunk. Although blue is being contested.
Well, Chicken Lee Sin is just... What is he trying to do right here? He's trying to get to that blue, hits a small minion, Tabs coming in from the side as well, dueling with aim, and ultimate goes down by Tabs as well, will not pick up the kill, but Strangleform's doing an insane amount of damage. Deadly Bloom goes down as well, and Im's Sheep... The contesting is they really can't do anything. In the 4 versus 4 trade, they win. And this is what we were talking about. In fact, I'm not sure if we were on stream. Curb's taking a lot of damage from Freeze, however. And I think they will be out of it. Anyway, were we on stream where we were talking about the fact that it's like a matador on a ball? In that, they have to run around in circles, basically. And wow, that was a pretty good shot by Imber Sheep. Nice. But yeah, basically they have to dodge around them. Whereas, Luna just have to bull rush them. And actually, AIM taking a lot of damage. Ignite has gone down. That will surely finish him off. Health pop was not enough. Meanwhile, Shyvana coming in as well to mob this one up. Ultimate goes down, and the passive will she be able to do some damage. And in fact, just misses even the creeps. Meanwhile, bottom kill lane going down, looking to do something under Freeze. Flash goes down. He will be out of there. Meanwhile, Kazmit's just wailing on them with those auto attacks of Power
chords,
Doom.
Yeah. So what we're talking about with this matador metaphor here. Is essentially
no, Alistair.
there's Replika have a hyper sort of mobile team, and they have a lot of disengages. They have a lot of dashes. Their whole team is very good at escaping and forcing engages and dueling. Whereas the other team has this kind of AoE setup going on, which is they have Rumble ult, they have Zyra ult, they have Jarvan who can lock people in. They have a lot of damage in this AoE, and they will really want to be just forcing straight up 5v5 team fights. So the play on their part is to try and force objectives. They need to be going for that dragon. They need to be saying, right, you have to come here to contest this or you're going to lose it. Whereas Replika want to keep it so that they are always not quite on balance. They always have to have someone who has to go and stop the wave pushing at top, or to stop.
Oh, Crescendo has gone down on Ember Sheep. Curve coming in from the side as well will knock them up, and E goes down in fact by Ember Sheep, picking up 1-for-1 trade. Curve picking up that one up, and will not be able to go for the dive. He was not manly enough on this occasion, and also he didn't have any mana. But apart from the cooldowns and all of that, he was not manly. Meanwhile, on top, Chicken Lee Sin looking to do something onto Mozilla.
He is not a chicken, damn it.
Look at him. He looks like a chicken.
That's probably offensive. I wouldn't know, but
who is it offensive to?
Someone
Chickens.
highly involved in Muay Thai. I don't know.
Yes, but they didn't look like chickens.
Whatever.
And
He's a penguin with a little rubber glove on his head.
okay, Penguin Lisa. No. So they're actually coming in from the side as well. They're just like, what are they doing? They're just kind of like walking side by side, just for like a good couple seconds. They're like, oh, hi. Well, I'm just ganking this lane. How about you? And they will be both backing off.
Now, what we're seeing here actually in top lane is quite interesting in that Rumble is this big lane bully, but Jax isn't behind right now. Because the last couple of games we've seen Rumble, he snowballed out of control. You know, he crushed his lane opposition and, you know, really gave them a hard time, pushed down their towers, and then roamed around destroying everyone else as well. But Jax here is actually ahead on CS, and they're both on 0 kills. So yeah, Jax is winning this lane, and Jax does not fall off. Jax becomes a monster late game, will duel anyone. I think he's probably the strongest duelist in the entire game. And yeah, Rumble, meanwhile, yes, he has...
Oh, man lane going in and bottom, Cataclysm goes down, and Ember Sheep popping over the wall to the skies. And he goes down as well, chunking off Freeze's health. Will he get the kill? There it is. And Kazmich on full HP, however. Meanwhile, in mid, Gragas picking up the kill onto Tabs. Work Knife finish him off. No, he will not. 20 HP. Massive from Zara will not do enough. And Jax coming in from the side as well. Chicken Lee Sin looking to reclaim some kills, taking a lot of damage from Mozilla. Radox coming in from the side as well, but misses the taser, actually hits a minion instead. Misses the Q. That was an interesting Q there, Frogget. Interesting.
It was a bluff. He didn't really want to hit.
Yeah. Chicken Lee Sin, proving how strong he is in this game.
He's playing mind games.
Mind
it's all
games,
very zen.
Yeah, I agree completely. Managed to hit the stationary target, that is the Drake.
That said, yeah, he's taking Dragon, so I think Zen or no one will care at this if he takes that. Although, at the current going rate, he is going to die, but Rumble is here to help him, so always good to have friends.
Yeah, definitely in this profession, which of being a chicken, I believe. I'm not entirely sure what profession he is in, but...
Gragas has his ult, he could probably... No, he doesn't.
He saw Lee Sin there, but he
didn't have his ult up, so I think he couldn't have bursted him.
Oh yeah, I see.
Otherwise he probably would have died, for the privilege of recalling in plain sight.
Well, Kerp is pretty tanky with his, not Demolition, Aegis, Golden Aegis, that's the one. He, like, just tanked all of the just straight up bursts from Corki. Like, that's pretty significant, and once again going with Flag and Drag, Q landed it, haha. That's terrible. Ember Sheep lands that Q on to Freeze, but significant harass. Even if they don't want to commit, it's pretty good harass. And then what are you going to do? Aegis goes down, and Mozilla actually trading with Radox. He's actually winning as well, but Radox can turn around. I don't know who has more sustain in this fight. Radox taking a lot of damage. Ignite goes down, Flash as well. Equalizer as follow up, but no. The Hex Drinker will
says
pop.
no. Or Hex Drinker, actually.
Hex Drinker. We'll be getting a more Mount Mortius, but not at the moment.
Probably Merc trades first, but yeah. Yeah, interesting little synergy actually at bot lane that I just noticed is Jarvan's Q shreds armor, and the shock gate and the shock gate, yes, the acceleration gate shock pulse, I think that's the name of it, is physical damage and has that 40% bonus on it when it goes through the gate. So that is actually really big damage. So even if Kerps just lands the Q and then they back off, they can still, if they hit the shock pulse, then
that burns!
Yeah, but imagine that with what? How much less armor?
Significant amounts.
Yeah, 26% less armor. That's, yeah, significant increase in damage. Especially considering Sona has... Oh, okay, yeah. I was quite confused for a second there. I clicked on Sona when she was had just healed, and so she had that little temporary buff on her armor. I thought, wait, is she running full armor page and then some or something? Because she had some like 86 armor.
Pretty significant for a support, yeah, indeed. But even so, yeah, as you said, that's a pretty good synergy. Like, I didn't think about that. They've obviously fought out the lane. It wasn't just something on a whim, but
Yeah.
Jace, Jarvan, yeah. I mean, I can see it because, like, Cataclysm goes down. Doesn't matter when you initiate because you have to disguise. Curve looking to do something here. There's a flag and drag. Desmond's taking a look at the damage as well. However, Shyvana coming in from the side. Curve taking a lot of damage, and surely in the sheep to follow. 2-0 trade. Great timing by Shyvana, like, just lying in the wings.
Interestingly, Lee Sin was
base
actually
as well.
going to do exactly the same thing. He just arrived 10 seconds later.
Yeah.
Now he's going to try and pick up
impressive,
creeps,
but he's taking a
might
lot
well
of
just-
damage. And exhaust goes
dear.
down. Ward jump. Will Freeze be able to do anything? Does not have the Valkyrie, so the answer is no to that question, and they'll probably get burnt out off that one. Mozilla looking to do something mid though. He's walked out of his lane and looking for the dive potentially. I mean, aim and well, he has been seen, so they have to act pretty soon. Counter-strike goes down, flash, swapping positions, and Oblin goes down by aim as well. A lot of damage comes from those plants, misses the Deadly Bloom, but even so, that was good for
Zyra's been
Zyra.
forced out of the lane for that, but that's not a great cost when Jarvan's there to pick up the farm.
Yeah, not only that, like Mozilla's had to go back, and then of course Radox has taken the opportunity to push that to his tower. So, all in all,
That didn't
being
really
Luna
work
Gaming
out
came,
for
yeah,
them.
Luna actually Kerb going balls deep onto
Man
aim.
mode.
Man mode support here, and Gragas must have had a heart attack, quite frankly.
It is rather alarming when you
It is,
have
yeah.
this man jump on you. But yeah, I don't think Jax really needs to worry though about having his creeps push to the tower. Yeah, it's not ideal because you'll be losing out on gold compared to where you would be, but he doesn't need to worry about losing the farm, meaning that Rumble will beat him in the lane.
Oh, Chicken Lee Sin looking to do something here. Ember Sheep ready in the wings, so is Kerb. Oracle is on Lee Sin, they know they don't have vision. Has Mitch and Freeze, know something janky is up. And Shyvana actually, like, wow, that is some timing, coming down bottom as well. Burn
Always in
coming
the
out
right
of Ember
place.
Sheep Q. Yeah, it's just, you can read the enemy's mind apparently. Tabs all lands the seed, the damage onto Kazmich, taking a lot of damage from the seed as well. Dragon's Descent goes down onto Tab's ultimate as well. Quick, easy pickup. Q goes over the wall from Ember Sheep. But that was,
Kazmich
yeah.
only got picked up by the Zyra passive there. She's healed since then. Yeah, a lot of damage on that thing. What is it? It's like 300 true damage?
pretty significant. I think it,
399.
yeah.
And it can penetrate, so yeah. Yeah, that's a lot of damage.
Like Cogmore passive 2.0.
Pretty much. Oh, there's nothing quite as funny as Cogmore passive though.
That's true.
It's just
it's true.
running after them. Though.
Meanwhile, top
Is
them,
it gonna
Mozilla
go?
trading off with Radox. I don't know if he can win, but he's certainly pushed them away. Yep, Radox has turned around, Equalizer goes down, flashes away from it. Mozilla just waiting for that one to tick
Gonna wait for
down.
the counter
And,
strike with his leap strike.
yeah, there it is, counter strike, leap strike, and will he win the trade? It's going to be close, and Radox will pick up the finish onto Jax. That was down to the wire. It was really like whether the tick would go down or whether the auto attack would go down.
I don't know
And-
why he didn't wait for counter strike though.
Did you not have counter strike?
No, he didn't
like
use
he
it at
used
the
it.
end there. He used it at the start of the fight.
Oh, right.
But he could have waited while he was in the bush, and Rumble clearly wasn't going to attack there, because he would have taken damage before he was able to respond. And Jax, I think maybe he jumped the gun because he wanted to get the kill, so he jumped on Rumble before he could run away, but didn't have Counter-Strike, and as a result lost the trade-off and died. I mean, maybe he did and it was a graphics glitch on my client. I don't think so, though, because I didn't notice Rumble getting stunned.
Right. So yeah, Replika Devs. I don't know. How would you pronounce that name? We'll be picking up Drake,
Jeff,
however. But
maybe?
Dev, like Jeff.
It kind of looks to me like Hungarian. I wouldn't be able to really say that kind of thing, really, because I'm no linguistics expert, but and Frogget just walked right past a ward, unless I'm very much mistaken.
He did
with
indeed.
his oracle. Oh dear. That's
Well,
actually
it's
a
fine.
really-
We didn't see it.
Well, it's a really bad thing to do, though. That's the thing. If you walk past the ward with your oracle on, then you're going to think that that area is safe.
Oh, Tabs has been picked up potentially by Aim. Strong performance goes down. Will the Ignite be enough to finish him off? Passive goes down. Oh!
Ooh.
That must have been like an eighth of a Teemo. Ultimate goes down. Equalizer. Will there be enough? No! He will survive with 11 HP. Dev coming in now, taking a lot of damage from Radox, but turning this one around with Mozilla by his side. Flash goes over the wall. Scrap Shield as well. Should be safe, but even so, Gragas is surviving past everything. Yes, Gragas buy a lottery ticket, man.
Yeah, okay,
Gragas, that was impressive.
I think we can actually say that was a little bit of luck there. That was some narrow stuff. Though he did do the right thing in that when he was ignited, he was casting as many spells as he possibly could to get his passive active to start regenerating health. But yeah, he so nearly lost all his drinking money.
Oh,
Character appropriate.
That was a really good response. I like it. Like, fantastic.
Yeah.
That was yeah, it was a pretty good comeback. Touche, Gragas, touche. So. You are mid. I mean, that was pretty crazy. Like, it must have been like an eighth of a Teemo. So close.
I think, yeah, we can say he had 3 near-death experiences there.
Yeah,
in that
quick
one
succession.
sort of,
yeah. So many heart attacks. Not very good with his, you know, cholesterol levels, but even so. So yeah, go ahead.
It looks like Jarvan has kind of transitioned into being a roaming support. Old meta, here we go.
Oh, Flag would drag over the wall. Will he pick up the kill onto Kazmich? Shock Pulse, wow, chunk off the... I think that was Deadly Bloom as well, but even so, that's some significant damage.
Half a health, more than.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, a lot of damage taken, and she burned Flash as well, so that's really gonna hurt. And it looks like Replika are sort of taking a little bit of a gold lead. It's nothing too severe though. It's 1 dragon for each team, if I recall.
Yeah.
Yeah. Neither side is massively taking an advantage here, but it's so close, and both of these teams' playstyles are kind of coming into play now, I think, because the AoE team comp is going to be trying to, as we say, sort of force big engagements now. And now that the laning phase is over in everywhere except including top lane, we can say that it's time for grouping up and taking objective.
Yeah, definitely. It's just like how are Replika going to play their composition, because they definitely feel they're ahead. And ultimately goes down by Gragas trying to pick someone off. Cope taking a lot of damage will be out of the Dragon's Descent, goes down on all the displacement. Depth surely going down, there it is. And Immersheep leaving the charge. He's taking a lot of damage though. Flash goes out. Tabs looking to turn this one around. Redox has an angry Jax on his tail. He's going to be out of their 1-for-1 trade. And Lee Sin trading off with Shyvana, who also looks a bit like a chicken. So...
didn't they both have oracles as well?
Yeah, I think they did. So 700 gold down the drain for both of them.
Yeah. Well, and actually, I've got to say though about AD carry Jace, it's very easy to forget that you are an AD carry and not playing top lane bruiser. Very easy to start thinking, well, I can probably get away with using hammer mode and jumping on someone. Don't do it. Just don't do it. You'll die very, very quickly with an AD carry build.
I don't think he's going AD carry as such though. I mean, he's got the Brutalizer, and it looks like he's maybe going Trinity, so he's going for that top lane build, but as you said, he's still pretty squishy at this stage. He's pretty much got what an AD carry would have anyway, other than maybe the Phage, but then again, proc carries,
It's
and then
kind of like an old school Ezreal build at the moment.
For sure, Yeah, it does actually, yeah.
Brutalizer being good for your early game ability damage, but kind of suffers a bit with late game scaling. Although actually, you could probably build a Youmuu's on Jace and get away with it, because he actually has that melee aspect.
Yeah.
Because Youmuu's built into the item is the stipulation that the active effect is extended if you... oh, hang on, up top.
Oh yeah, Frogly Sin, yeah, Frogly Sin going on to Mozilla Firefox.
Frog chicken Lee Sin.
That sounds delicious.
My chicken. Yeah,
absolutely delicious. Anyway,
you could build Youmuu's because Youmuu's has an active on it which the effect is extended if you attack using a melee auto attack. That's why you pretty rarely see it on AD carries, I think.
The melee auto attack? I thought it was range as well. I thought it was any auto attack.
No, it has to be melee. Yeah, that's the thing.
Wow, I did not know that.
It extends like 2 seconds for each hit you land, up to like maximum of 8. So an AD carry only gets something like 2 seconds out of it, I think. But you know, a bruiser or Master Yi, as pretty much is the only person that builds it that I know of, maybe Xin, yeah, will get a lot more out of the item. Why my stint of building Yomu's on Ash is sadly at an end. To be fair, though, actually, it kind of works anyway, because armor penetration is a seriously undervalued stat. But, yeah, it's a, very strong item. And
once again... Well, sorry, I just wanted to point out that Replika taking Drake with the high mobility, and they're able to get that pretty quickly. In fact, AIM looking for the explosive cast. There it goes. Shyvana missing the Dragon's Descent, but it doesn't even matter. And Scumbag Sana will be picking up that kill, no problem. And I'm not sure how many times we've said that in the last, past weeks, because it's been many times. Overrun hit. Wow, Baron. They can take this pretty quickly, actually.
Yeah,
but
they've got a lot of really
Equalizer, though.
duelists.
Like, Equalizer by itself can certainly pin him down. There it goes, that goes down. Stranglethorns as well. Trying to stop this from happening. Man Lane bottom also coming into the fray. Cataclysm goes down, jumping over. Radox will fall, so will Corki. Mozilla sacrificing himself, trying to stop AIM from dying, but he will be flag and dragged as well. He did not escape in time. Missing the E from tabs. Kerp trying to poke, but will not insert that into the rear end of Gragas.
Yeah, Frogget just tried to carry on the Baron, and I don't think that worked out for him. But yeah, that was slightly sad, because Replika didn't have the vision in the bottom half of the jungle to know that the enemies could respond that quickly, and they didn't wait for Sona to clear out the wards, because they couldn't afford to. If they had been in the right position, then they might have lost that position. But it was a very risky play, and they were actually pulling ahead quite a lot from their clever kind of mobility from before. But yeah, that Baron just cost them quite dearly.
Yeah, well, the ball just rushed into them basically, and they couldn't get out of the way in time.
Yeah.
And the analogy is really quite apt, honestly. And now that I come to think about it, you have Frog Chicken Man. It's like Man Bear Pig.
Man Bear Pig. Half man, half bear,
Frog
half
Chicken
pig.
Man. Man Chicken
Yeah.
Pig. Man Chicken Frog.
I don't know. I don't know where this is
Man
going,
Frog Chicken.
and I don't think I like it.
It's pretty incredible. It's pretty amazing. I'm liking where it's going. So I don't know about you, and I don't really care. Ooh.
One thing I actually like about Corki's build right now, by the way, is that he's gone for Triforce first. And a lot of AD carries lately have been building on these proc carries. They've been building Infinity Edge first, and then building Triforce, or sometimes just going straight into Phantom Dancers. But the thing is, he is building quite tanky by virtue of getting that Triforce for an AD carry. And he's dealing with a lot of people that want to dive him in this enemy team. Kerp is Jarvan the 4th. You've got Lee Sin, you've got Rumble, you've got Jace, maybe, depending on what he's building. He hasn't gone back in a while, actually, I think. It looks like he's going for Triforce, so he could be going either way.
Oh, rushing Baron again. Like, Jace is down bottom, I guess, but just well got
Zara's in base.
Bit of time. Kerp. Ward goes down. They know he's there. Chicken Lee Sin trying to ward them away. Radix coming in from the side as well. Does he have his ultimate? The answer is yes. There it is. Kerp going down as well. Will they get Baron? And in fact, Lee Sin will pick that one up. Jarvan will fall immediately. Frogget probably to follow as well. Radox, will he go in? Yes, he will. Dragon's Descent goes down, pinning him out. Stranglethorns will pick up 2 people. But that will not be a kill. Mozilla trading off will die for his troubles. Very interesting.
Yeah, his team didn't follow up on that. Mozilla at the end there. I think they might have actually been able to pick them both up.
Yeah, but they all
they didn't have the confidence because they had full health, whereas their own team had very little. And they should have either backed out or gone in, but I think they got mixed messages from whoever's making the calls there.
Yeah, definitely. So, briefly back to that point. So you were talking about Corki with the Triforce, and it makes a lot of sense in a numerous amount of ways, because they're looking for those sorts of small skirmishes than the straight-up fights. So Trinity Force, burst damage, okay, that makes a lot of sense there. And mobility, plus 12% movement speed, again, makes a lot of sense. The more you think about it, there's more ways and more aspects in which the Trinity Force makes more sense for Corki. So yeah, it was a really clever choice. However, are they winning right now? I mean, okay, they've got a gold advantage, but they are kind of being pushed back. There's not
The
too many
problem
aggressive
is that they
wards,
keep
but...
doing these barons at less than stellar times. They keep building an advantage and then throwing it away, basically. How many of the team have actually kept that Baron buff, though? I think only 2 of them survived with it. So they don't have such a serious situation where they will probably lose in a team fight, although they probably might lose in a team fight anyway because of team comp. But it's an awkward situation, actually. Like, Replika have made a lot of good calls, but then they've made these 2 catastrophic Baron calls that have just not worked out at all for them.
Before they just go for another one, and it's just like, it will work for the next... work for the third time. Third time lucky, I mean, Lee Sin's bottom.
Really, you don't want to do Baron unless the enemy is severely out of position and can't possibly rally to get there in time. Or when you've killed a lot of them. Or alternately, you can try and force it by virtue of clearing out their wards and making it so that they're left in doubt, where you might be doing it, you might not, but they can't afford to risk it. And then you just sit and wait for them to come, and then you clear out the wards again.
Yeah, definitely. We could see a potential engage, but yeah, what they were trying to do, actually Kerr being dangerously near the front lines, there could see initiation flag, Dragon goes down, the crescendo as well. Dragon's Descent will get him out of there, but he'll be picked up anyway by Tabs. AIM rolling in with the body slam will be picked up. Very janky mechanics there actually. Valkyrie over the wall will be picked up by an auto attack from Tabs. Will not land the snare onto Mozilla, despite flashing as well. But
and like we say,
yeah,
fight him in an AoE team fight kind of scenario, then they're going to kill you. You know, that's Iral at knock-up. I don't know how long the knock-up lasts, but that was huge in that fight. Just did so much crowd control, so much damage. Just so unfortunate for Replika there. Yeah. And it looks like they're picking up a free dragon here.
There's
nothing Replika can do to contest that.
Yeah, exactly. There's nothing really they can do about this one. And as you said, they're playing like, well, the way they went with that Baron is like, okay, there's one person bottom. If they go for this trade, then it's going to be 4 versus 5, or maybe 5 versus 5 when he eventually gets up here. But they're playing it like they have a team where they're not mobility comp, they're like a standard sort of just bruiserish comp, which obviously Luna Gaming have. And actually Mozilla going into Frogger, I mean, he does have the slow. We'll go over the wall with that wall jump, but yeah, going back to that point, is they're playing like they have a different setup, and they're not adapting to the situation in every way that their composition allows for it. Like, they're playing it well, because they are going for the mobility, but they're not playing it in all of its aspects, and they're trying to put some of the aspects from a different composition into this one, which don't synergize or work.
Yeah, I'd say what they did, they wanted to rush down those barons because they were taking advantage of that mobility, getting people out of position, but the problem was they played it too aggressively. They did it in a time where actually the enemy wasn't far enough out of position to ruin it. Although, actually to be fair, in the second baron, the whole thing might have been turned around by a better smite. I couldn't honestly tell you. But that's not a situation you want to be putting yourself into, where you're at risk of just one guy just walking in and stealing it. But yeah, it's very unfortunate.
Even so, this is still a pretty close game. I mean, both teams do have like the same sort of late game scaling anyway. I mean, no team's really going to scale off as such. Maybe Lee Sin, I guess, but even so, they have a lot of just brute force, and they're about 3k ahead right now as well. This is just such a close game. I mean, one of the closest we've casted today, in fact.
Gragas suffers a bit in the late game, because once you reach the point where you can out-sustain his poke, a lot of his usefulness sort of falls off. But he's still very useful, because you can, you know, drag enemies out of position, you can still force disengages. And he actually has an attack speed slow on his barrels, even though most people don't actually know that, because it just isn't very obvious about it.
Pretty significant as well, actually. It's like, what, 40% max rank?
Yeah, well, he was originally designed to be a melee bruiser,
yeah.
and that worked out well.
Yeah, Yeah, I mean, his kit is really nice for an AP carry, because it's like, well, he's an AP carry, but he's also super tanky, which is what made Bryce so incredibly strong, because he was like, he was an AP carry, yeah, but he could build like a tank and still poop out damage. It was just scary, and now they've readjusted, but he still does a lot of damage. I'm not really entirely sure why he's gone out of favour. I suppose it's just better AP carries with a bit more mobility, and I suppose that's why they also gave his ultimate that movement speed to try and put him back in contention with some of those AP carries. But even so, back onto this game. Yeah, when I was saying before, neither team scales off, I was like relative to the other team. Like, there are characters which scale off, but you have Lee Sin scaling off, but in the same way you have like a Jax, not a Jax, you have a Gragas scaling off, so it equalizes itself out. Like, obviously Jax will not scale off because it's Jax, but
yeah.
Yeah,
yeah, Jax, Shyvana, they're pretty strong late game.
Yeah.
Both of them just. Like, Shyvana gets really tanky and does a lot of damage. Jax gets just everything. He gets, you know, he has great CC, he has great damage, he has great everything. He is a monster. But, yeah.
Oh, that's the thing with Shyvana as well. Like, people seriously underestimate the AoE damage. Like, it just mounts up pretty significantly. And you don't even have to be that close. Like, the AoE is pretty widespread as well. Looks like Luna are setting up for this Baron, and they have already 2 seeds down there. There's 3. They are looking to try and take this pretty quickly. Like,
planting the seeds of a Baron attempt.
Haha!
Yeah. They're going for it.
Yeah, 4 seeds, Spitter, Watson, and Jiggies.
Yeah, 5 Thorn Spitters doing huge damage.
They're looking maybe for the counter initiate. Oh, wow, okay.
They backed out at the last second.
Jack's too scary.
Yeah, I think maybe they were concerned about the Shyvana. She could Dragon's Descent in and smite. Is, again, not a situation you want to be in. And Gragas aggro Baron. Because, haha.
That situation. Pity don't have any, like, rearranging terrain things like Jarvan or, well, not Jarvan because that would require jumping in. Like Olivia or Trundle. Doing pretty good, but even so, they have stopped them from taking Baron. And, like they know how strong they are, and that is really good to see in a team. It's like, well, we know how strong we are. We're not going to just contest Baron to the point where it's like, okay, we're going to lose the fight. We're just doing it because that's what you're supposed to do in the circumstance. It's like we genuinely know how strong we are in comparison to you. Therefore, we're going to push it so that you don't get overconfident and go straight forward. Like it's clever mind play. And just how they're moving about as a team, it's clever.
Yeah, Replika are being forced into the situation they didn't want to be in, though, by this. They, like, for instance, right now, bot lane is pushing their tower down quite nastily. They're being forced. Their mobility isn't being used because they essentially are being forced to react to what Luna is doing.
Yeah, well, mobility comms work, because when you get ahead, you can just split push and just be all over them like a swarm. And this is what we see from the likes of Ace. And here comes the initiate from Curb. Cataclysm goes down, Flash goes out by A. Mozilla just singing everyone. Dragon's Descent goes down onto a Frocket. And Jarvan has fallen. Radok's turning around to do some damage. Flash goes out by Mozilla, will be picked up anyway. Breeze forced to get out of there on very low health. Double kill goes down from Grax, will be picked up in turn. And Shyvana will be falling. Aim just kind of skedaddling on out, but Sonnet was also pushed out as well as Corki on the very low health, about 1 hit from death a pair. That was a 2-for-2 trade, but definitely Luna coming out ahead once again because it was a 5 versus 5 trade. This is what we keep on saying, but it was a great initiation. Obviously Replika didn't want to go for that fight, that's why they weren't initiating, because if they wanted to initiate they could, because they have pretty decent initiate, but they didn't want to, they were just trying to stall them, and because what else can they do? They have to stop them from taking Baron. But at the same time, you had Luna Gaming just forcing it on them, and that was a great initiate from support Jarvan right there as well.
Yeah, you know what's actually interesting though at this point?
Yeah?
Lee Sin is now taking over a lot of the warding and oracle responsibilities from Jarvan.
Oh, yeah.
Because I think Jarvan now kind of wants to almost build like a normal aggressive Jarvan, although he's actually going for Ionian boots, which is unusual, I think. But I guess it works, actually, given that they want to be engaging as often as possible, and Flag and Drag and Cataclysm are obviously quite long cooldowns, I think.
Really back up.
Yeah, well, no, actually, no, with the way the Ionian boots is 63 seconds. But yeah, his standard engagement is 9.1 seconds essentially, because it's reliant on Damasin standard. But yeah, this is interesting there. But I think Replika are starting to catch up in this 5v5 environment, because they have these late game monsters like Jax and Shyvana. Like, they're starting to get to the point where those guys can just dive the AoE monsters at the back, who are both AP and are both liable to fall off somewhat.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is interesting. They could still turn this around again.
They are intelligent picks in that respect. Like, both teams peak at different points as well, which is also very interesting. And as you were saying, like, Jax and Shyvana are super strong, like, Corki scales pretty well as well. Maybe Gragas less so, but even so, as you were saying, like, at the start, okay, when they get ahead mobility, then they can move themselves around. Then, when it gets to late game, then they're going to peak once again. I think they have like 3 peaking points actually. Like, at the start, they're pretty strong, but maybe the other team are actually slightly stronger. Then again, if they get ahead, they're going to peak. If that doesn't happen, okay, you wait for a bit, and if they get an advantage, they peak, or if they get to late game, they peak. So, yeah, it's interesting in that respect. A very clever composition.
Meanwhile, Jace is still building like a proc carry. I think he is probably more of an AD carry than he is anything else right now.
Yeah. It made a lot of sense to go for the Bloodthirster, in fact, honestly, because, well, you can stack that up and it works well with his skills, which, well, most of them scale from the AD, of course, and...
Good AD ratios, and the life steal will actually help him survive when he's being dived by these Jax and Shyvana people. Yeah, always an issue for him. But he has a GA now as well, so he can rely on that to keep him alive. But the same is true of Corki, of course, so... Depends who gets dived harder.
So taking a look at Jace's tooltip, and he's got 300 AD right now, and his hypercharge does quite a lot of damage, 130% on each attack, and then 390 damage. That's pretty significant. Pretty significant damage.
Yeah, that is nasty poke, considering what's the cooldown? It's a couple of seconds? 7.2 seconds.
Blast. Painful.
I don't think we can actually look at his skills when he's in hammer
No,
mode.
we just have to wait for him.
Come on!
Jake,
there we go.
Please swap. Okay, thank you.
Acceleration gate is 9 seconds and shock blast is 7.2. So yeah, every 9 seconds you can chuck out what? 300, so probably in the region of 500 damage poke. That's nasty. I mean,
AoE as well, yeah.
Probably pales in comparison to Gragas, who can every 5 seconds can throw out like a nearly 700 damage nuke. But in
fact, Shyvana could be caught right here. Mobility composition now. I mean, immediately the aura popped up by Sona, and then again with the burnout, there was very little they could do. Actually, Lee Sin landing the cube, press it. Interesting enough, if he pressed it right there, he might have been able to kick someone over the wall. And then flashed over himself.
Yes.
Well, he doesn't actually have a flash himself, does he?
Yeah, quite.
He would have had safeguard though. There's someone jumps the wall.
But he'd probably have been dead before they got there.
That is true. That is true. But it would have required immense coordination. That's for sure. In fact, Embersheep has been caught. This could be the pick that they need. And Frog coming in from the side initiates with that Q. And Strangleforce goes down, will hit 5 people, taps at World Zonya's, and Dragon's Sect goes down in the middle of everyone. Embersheep tearing her apart, however, and perhaps has gone down. Double kill for Corki. We'll pick up that kill as well when Corki comes out of that Guardian Angel. And that's some significant damage just from a Shock Blast with the acceleration gate. But that was a 4-4-2 trade. And once again, basically the reason why they initiated is that they thought they were going to get a pick and then they could follow up. And it's like, okay, we'll pick up the AD carry, we go for the initiate. But Jace really isn't squishy in that sense. Like, he's quite tanky.
I imagine he has quite good sort of base stats for tankiness. Because he is designed to be sort of a pseudo bruiser. So he will have much higher like health per level and armor and magic resist per level, I expect. Although I don't know if he has scaling magic resist actually. I don't think I can check what his base magic resist is. So yeah, that's a bit of a pity. But yeah, and with that, I think Luna definitely taken a significant advantage. Like, they have this difficulty right now in that for Replika, in that they can't really afford to push out a lane, because with Baron buff, any kind of group of enemies that jumps on them will just kill them, all, like very quickly. I mean, they could try and deal with someone like Lee Sin, who isn't going to be so strong in that kind of scenario. But you know, it's difficult to deal with. And right now, yeah, they aren't taking advantage of that mobility as much as I'd say they should right now. Because they could send someone like Jax out alone if they've got the wards. This is the important thing. They need it to be warded. And it looks like they're going to be fighting for Dragon, so I'll hold that thought for a second. Hang on, what's going on here? Oh right, so Kerp and Radox are just gonna take Dragon for free, it seems. I guess they just daren't fight in a team fight right now. It's a bit of a shame, but yeah.
Base was well out of there though, I mean, like they could have gone through, but I suppose they didn't have the vision, and someone got an Oracle? Yeah, Frogger's got an Oracle. So, I don't know, I mean, they're about 8k ahead right now, but Replika still have the opportunity to peak. They still have that opportunity because Jax just gets to that monstrous stage. I mean, if you leave it for long enough, he will reach that stage. Like, if they can stall, they could still win. But I think at the stage they need to.
Replika is definitely Luna's game to lose, basically, at the moment. And there's a massive creep wave at top, actually, right now. But Replika can't really afford to leave, or they're going to lose their tower anyway.
Oh, the initiation has gone down by aim. Will they follow up on it? Mozilla doing some damage to Frogger, in fact, and Ember Sheep just wailing on the side. Doing some damage to Freeze, will not pick up the kill. Mozilla reinitiating, Dragon Descent goes down, Dragon falls as well. Frogger looking to do some damage and will pick up the double kill. Kazmich has been caught, no flash, and that'll be a third kill. Kurt picking that one up. And Aim and Freeze are the last ones alive. They are
that might be GG, actually.
Carries. Yeah, it could be GG. Are they going to get picked up? If one of them get picked up here, it probably will be, and has some immense damage from Jace. Following up with To the Skies, Freeze looking for the kill onto Ember Sheep, and Cass goes down, will pop the Guardian's Angel, cannot dive, but will Freeze fall? Yes, he will. 4 people down right now, that was definitely 1 inhib, 2 inhibs, and they could quite easily ride this wave for the finish, and GG, well played, Groove Jax. That was a very interesting and very enjoyable game to cast.
Yeah, I've got to say though, Replika did make some serious misplays on the Barons. That was really their only weakness in that whole game, was those first 2 Baron calls that really weren't a good idea. They did it at a time when it was just so dangerous. They risked so much to gain, yes, quite a lot, but wouldn't have put. They were already ahead. They didn't need that. But that's life. You live and learn, I suppose.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah. Hang on, I'll just need to check for the admins, and okay, so it will be the semi-finals next. It will be, well, Luna, who just took that game, versus possibly Fnatic, possibly Leisure. But until then, guys, we'll be back in a bit after this commercial break, and yeah, we'll see you soon.